What up, though? It's the word. You see the title. Let's talk about it. Before we get into it, Happy New Year, everybody. 2023. Happy New Year. And also, if you're checking this video out for the first time, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and drop me a like. It's free to you, but it means a lot to me. And if I say something in this video that resonate with you, do me a favor, share it. Help me spread the word. So it's 2023. A lot of people recognize this as a new year. This is the beginning of the new year. So, conversational purposes. Happy New Year. So, I'm new to this whole YouTube thing. So, hey, mammy, sweet wine, I'm sorry. Happy New Year. I'm new to all this YouTube stuff, so I'm still learning a lot. But I plan on using a lot of the equipment that I have. I don't even use the soundboard, but I plan on, really indulging into learning how the YouTube thing works. But I still got to do it my way, and the way I do things is I try to help people with things that I was affected with in life. So a lot of times that's why I talk about the mindset, because once I fixed the way I thought, I began to reap the benefits, that life has to offer. And coming from where I came from, I know a lot of people who been in worse situations, so I'm blessed. And I just feel like sharing information is a lost art. Most of the time you got to pay for information, but if I got something that somebody can use, I will benefit just by giving it to them. And that's my contribution to society, or one of them, should I say. But I believe, even though it's so much negative in the world, I just truly believe if I could continue on my path and spreading positivity, it'll rub off on people eventually, and that's what I hope. And it's hard because, like I said, the world is filled with negative things and negative people. And it's hard not to feel the effects of that negativity. It's hard. But it's a way to do it. It's a way to do it. And it might sound harsh or even crazy when I say it's a choice, but ultimately it is. What we're influenced by is what we allow ourselves to be influenced by. Once I began to understand the power I held, I began to utilize it. And everything in life is a process, right? And I'm still in that process of learning how to accept things and let things go. But I'm aware that that's what has to be done. If something happened to you, oh, mammy, you already know. No, look, mammy, you got a sweetheart. You really do. And a lot of times in life, when people see how sweet someone is, they try to manipulate that, right? They will try to, same thing with me. People have manipulated me in my early 20s. I've been manipulated, but I learned, don't stop being you. Don't stop being that sweet person you are. You just got to be careful of who you expose yourself to. You got to be careful who you give that sweetness out to. Because like I said, some people will accept you and embrace the love you're giving them, and some people will use that against you. They'll take your kindness for weakness. And that's something I had to learn, you can't be kind to everyone. But I don't feel I have to be nasty neither. I just prefer to excuse myself from people's presence who I can't be kind to, if that makes sense. I even the way I talk, I don't try to disrespect. Even if you hear me talking about something somebody did, I'm gonna do it in a respectful way because I'm a respectful person. And I mean, we all can sit up here and say what we are, but it's our actions that dictate what we are. I can sit up here and tell y'all all day I'm humble, I'm a nice guy, but if I go out and do something to harm someone else or disturb somebody else's peace, then I mean, I'm a contradiction, right? So I try not to contradict myself. I live by morals and codes, and that's how I got to the position that I'm in now, mentally and physically. Living by morals and codes, and sometimes, sometimes it hurt me. Just being real, sometimes it hurt me, but I try not. I try to lessen the blow. Like when I see the blow coming, just like if I was fighting in real life, I try to block it as much as I can, and that's all we can do. But never change who you are because the way others treat you, because that's the negative influence I'm talking about, right? People will treat you nasty if you sweet just to make you nasty. People like in general like to pull people down to their level. And a lot of times in my past, and I'm not even saying in the future I won't be affected like that, because you never know. Even though I know things, you never know. What up, baby? Not that kind of doctor. That's my baby. and shout, you know what? I'm gonna share something with y'all too. Thursday, my wife had to go into the hospital. After her C-section, she retained a lot of fluid, and the fluid got around her heart and her lungs. So she just got out today. But I got two kids at home. I got a newborn baby and a 3-year-old. And my sister, not that kind of doctor, her daughter was sick, but she understood, with my limited eyesight, I need help. I have chronic migraines. Um, Sometimes my shunt don't drain right and my vision blur. So she knew I needed help. So even though her daughter was sick and she had 3 kids of her own, she came and stayed the night and made sure I was straight. And then the next night, my other sister, the chef, came, and both of them sacrificed because they got family of their own. But like I said, we can say things, but it's our actions that prove things. And the sacrifice she made, and people might think that's not a sacrifice, that's your sister. It is, because she didn't have to. Sacrifice that she made prove what she always tell me when she say she loved me. It proved that. So that's why me personally, I try to thank you, Mammy. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Mammy. But that's why I always try to follow my words through with action, you know, because I don't, there's no purpose in me saying something if I ain't gonna do it. That's just how, like I said, my morals and my codes are. If I'm gonna say something, then I'm gonna do it. And if I can't do it, I'm gonna let you know I can't do it. But I'm not gonna sit up here and boost myself up to a point where I can't live up to it. And we all would like to think the best of ourselves, but if we not supporting our words with action, then I mean, you talking yourself up ain't gonna make you a better person. It's gonna hinder you. It's gonna hinder your growth. So that's why I always try to do, or be what I say I am. And this space right here, you know, this is a safe space. You're not go. I'm not. I don't talk about people. I talk about actions, because the reason I do that, and I don't talk about the people, is because the actions we all can learn from. And just because someone did something, don't mean they can't change. You know what I'm saying? So I don't try to turn anyone to a villain. Some people make mistakes. We all do, right? Some people have lapse of judgment at times. So that's why I try not to talk about people. I just try to talk about the actions, because I believe we all can learn not only from our actions, but the actions of others. That's how we grow. And like me just doing the self reflection, I try to do that every day, right? Because I got a mantra too that I live by. I am my only competition. And the reason I do that is to stay focused on making me a better me. If I compete with other people, then I got to outdo what they're doing. But if I compete with myself, if I try to be better tomorrow than I was today, then I'm focused on my own growth. I don't want to grow into somebody else. And a lot of times when you compete with people, you're so focused on being better than them that what you're doing might take away from the betterment of you. And I had to learn that. I learned that in sports and I learned that in real life. Trying to be better than somebody else, it might take me off my path. And now I'm just focused on being better than that person. But by doing that, like I said, I lose time focusing on making myself better. Because me trying to be better than somebody else, that person might not even be a good person. And the things I might have to do to outbest them might not be good things um, in terms of my personal growth. I might have to do things that I normally wouldn't do. Now I'm adding that to my character, and that might not be wanted. So that's why I always tell people just focus on being a better you. Don't worry about what other people do. I was hoping by now, and it was a hope. I knew it was all fresh and new, and I'm not doing a lot of stuff that other content creators are doing, like reactions and like panels and all that. But I want to grow, and I know it's gonna be slow. I'm gonna grow the way I grow though. I'm a snowball it. Eventually, channel go get bigger, content get bigger, and hopefully my message get louder. Because all I'm simply telling everybody to do is change the way you think. A lot of our problems is because of our perception, how we look at things. They got that old saying, you can look at a glass half full or half empty. And when I see it, I just see potential to add more to it. I don't look at it as half full or half empty. I see the potential in it. We are trained to think a certain type of way. And a lot of times we don't understand the influences that the structures have on us. The way we look at each other, the way men look at women, the way women look at men. A lot of us don't understand that we were indoctrinated. And that's the sad part. Because where I grew up at, how I grew up, my family, we always cherished the women in our family. We always knew we had to protect them. But the outside influences showed me that women were sex objects. And I wasn't brought up like that. So having the understanding that I already had, and then being around not even just sex objects, but ultimately that women are beneath men. I wasn't raised to think like that. So now that I go into society, I meet new people and just hear how people treat women. I understood that this was predicated upon the influences they had. It wasn't something that they thought of themselves. It wasn't because this is how they feel. It was because they were influenced to think like this. And it might have been home. It could have even, believe it or not, be the Bible. I hear a lot of these men who bash women use Bible verses to dictate how they treat women. So, but they influence, because if you truly look at a woman for what she is, you understand that the women are the creators of this physical plane. They're the alpha creators, over all species. They create life. Without the woman, there will be no man. So I don't understand how people think men are over women. I mean, if you're talking about physical strength, I can understand that, but then you understand you was given that strength to protect the women, not to dominate them, but to protect them from other men. That's how it's supposed to be. But now we use the strength to dominate women, and that's influence. Socialization. I am, mammy. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna always be. I'm gonna always be me. I don't change. If I can't change the environment, I change the environment and leave. I don't. I don't let things. I'm aware. I'm not gonna say I don't let things influence me because I'm human. But I'm not gonna let it take me out my character. I know how to step back or step away, or go create somewhere else. You know, and that's what doctor tells you. It's socialization. You know, and I'm gonna get her up on a panel one day because the conversations me and my sister have about life are fruitful. You know, fruitful. Steel sharpen steel. Iron start sharpen iron. You know, me either. I want to raise like that. I said our brothers will respect my elderly. Yep. And to the young ones that are kind and polite and have some sense in their head, all we have to do is just pray for them. Yeah, we gotta pray for them. But you know what else too, man? We gotta start really teaching them. We have to be like I look at my kids, right? My son mimics everything that I do. So only imagine if I was doing something bad. You know, when I rub his mother feet, he want to rub his mom's feet. So imagine if I was doing something negative to my wife, he'd pick that up. But I see now by him watching my actions that I can influence him positively. So I'm very mindful of what I do around my son because I want him to grow up to be a better person than I am. That's my goal for my kids is to make them better than me. And I think if every household adopt that ideology, I think we can have a huge impact on society. The kids are our future. So if we understand the things that we do influence them, not what we say, but what we do has a huge influence on them. I'm not saying our words don't have influence on them, but I'm saying the things that we do have a huge influence on them. So by understanding that, if we go out and do the right thing, in turn, they will want to do the right thing. You know, they, but we got to hold ourselves accountable, and we got to get to a point where we're open to constructive criticism. As a society, a lot of times you can't even point out things people doing without them getting upset or mad. And I understand because, people throw subliminal messages all the time. People try to, say hurtful things to you or break you down, but it's people also trying to help. And if we keep blocking everybody out that saying something that we don't want to hear, then a lot of times we won't even know what we're doing. That's why it's an old saying, you don't know what you're doing until you're not doing it no more, right? So if I see somebody doing something, if I can't come to them and talk to them, they gonna continue doing it. And eventually it's gonna become a habit. And when it becomes a habit, habits are hard to break. Habits aren't just drugs. Habits are things we do in general. So if a person is going around, for instance, if I'm just going around disrespecting people who I feel don't like me, eventually, um, eventually that's gonna catch up to me. And if somebody who loved me is trying to say, "Hey, you out of pocket," and I'm not listening to them, I'm not gonna stop. So, especially us black people, we got to be open to constructive criticism. And what that looks like is telling somebody what they're doing wrong, but giving them an example of how to do it right. Because if you just telling somebody they're doing something wrong, that it has no value. That's more of a judgment. If we go around just telling everybody you're doing this wrong, right, or what up, if we just going around telling people they doing this wrong, doing that wrong, without giving them an example of what the right thing is, then you're judging them. And no one really likes to be judged. But I think people will be open if you have some constructive to it, something better. Give them something better than what they're doing. That's how I look at constructive criticism. And like I said, I'm open to constructive criticism, but criticism without construction to me is destruction. You know, that's just how I look at it, though. That's just how I look at it. But and that's why I say, like, I don't on this platform. I don't judge nobody. And I'm gonna be honest with you, and it might sound crazy, but the reason I choose not to judge people because I rather analyze them. Because even if they're doing something wrong, I can learn something from it. And once I take a lesson from it, there's no point in me even really talking about it unless they're open to that construction. If they're not, then there's no point in me wasting my time or having conflict. So that's personally why, even though like even when I talked about KB, I didn't even talk about him. I was just showing him what he did in that moment was the same thing that he was talking about we do or black people do. And I gave him an example. And I was passionate about that subject because I know people, and it's been done to me. After they made their mistakes, they begin to change, and an incident happened. And the first thing people want to do is look back at somebody's past. And if you're not strong minded, that can break a person. And when I see something done like that, it's kind of like I said, I'm passionate about it because I believe everybody should have the opportunity to grow and learn. And if somebody is on that path of doing so, I'm not gonna try to derail them. I'm not gonna try to negatively affect that. I'm gonna help it if I can. You know. So yeah, in 2023, I know I'm everywhere, but in 2023, I'm bringing more of my family on here. I think my family, we normal, but we unique. I got an awesome family. So I'm gonna bring more of my family on here. I'm gonna learn how this YouTube thing works. And one day I'm getting Ryder up here from a genuine place, right? And not from a place of trying to down the other person just to be right. And that's what I call constructive criticism. If you giving them a better way of doing something, and the intent has to be genuine, like you said. And a lot of times it's not. People just like to tell people what they doing wrong so they can feel good about themselves. And that's another reason I don't judge people, because a lot of times you can look and see when people judging others, and they're doing it because it makes them feel better about themselves. And I'm only saying that because I used to do it. All the stuff that I usually talk about, I'm not really talking about nobody but me, and I'm talking about my changes. A lot of the stuff I talk about, I did it myself. I used to like even roasting. Like if you ask my sister, the way I roast now is different from what I did back in the day. I don't even try to hurt nobody. If it ain't funny to a point where we both can laugh at it, there's no point in me saying. And I roast myself half of the time. So That's my baby. But yeah, I think we got an opportunity. Um, I think we get an opportunity to make an impact. It's some good, um, it's some real good content creators on here, and they focused on elevating people. Everybody got their own way of doing it, but there's some really good content creators on here bringing content that can elevate the mind, the spirit, and the soul of people. And I just think if we back them more, and I plan on doing that, you'll see my community posts where I'm sharing people's content, and that's because I believe in their message. And like I said, I'm always gonna lead by example. So hopefully I rub off on people. Not saying that people will follow me, but my hope is I just rub off on people. I don't need no one to follow me, but I try to make being nice. I'm trying to make that cool. Like it's cool to be nice. It's cool to be approachable because it really is. We all can grow off each other. Everybody on this planet has the potential to advance our society. And a lot of us don't get the chance or the opportunity to do so. But with this app, that can happen. 'Cause everybody got a unique perspective. Everybody got access to resources. It's something about everybody. It might not even be them. It might be somebody they know. And connecting with one another, sharing with one another, that's how we're supposed to live. Like I hear a lot of people say, um, they don't want to be used, right? And this is my concept of that. Everything and everybody is supposed to be used. I don't feel you should abuse. There's a difference, right? I don't mind if people use me because generally is a fair exchange. You use me, I use you. But it's when one take advantage of the other one. When one take more, should I say? Once you take more, now that's an abuse. So I don't think the words have, words give us an emotional attachment. And once we get emotionally attached to a word, is a perception given off. So the way we use the term use is deemed bad, but is actually good. You're supposed to be used. If you got a job, you're being used and you're getting paid. So like when we interact with one another, I want you to use me. Use everything I got, but just be willing to give me that same energy back. Don't abuse me. You can use me, but don't abuse me. And I'm gonna get more into language too, because a lot of the words we use, we don't really have a real concept of what the word is. And by not understanding the word, we don't properly know how to analyze. Like I said, even the term use, everything is supposed to be used. Or even if you take the word, yeah, hey, Ryder, bro, yeah, that will be a blessing. That will be a blessing. But like even like the way we use the word pagan now, right? Pagan is anything outside the three main religions. And when you think of pagan, you think of like witchcraft or something negative or bad. But pagan simply in Latin means paganus, means from a foreign land. It has nothing to do with religion. But when we hear it, we think of any religion or spiritual practice outside and is automatically deemed bad or against God when it's not. Half of that, half of the paganism originated from our people. And these words are used to keep us away from things that we are naturally supposed to do or supposed to indulge in. Even the whole, like I don't personally use the N word. you know, because of the creation of the word. It wasn't created out of nothing positive. So when I say it, I look at it as negative. So I can't say it to someone I respect because subconsciously I'd be looking at them as something negative. And that's what happens. We don't even understand how our subconscious functions. We don't. Because once we understand how our subconscious functions, then we'll wake up to a lot of things that's being done and how it's being done. I think my son just woke up. He about to. But yeah, I'm just rambling like I always do. But yeah, I expect to bring um, more enlightening content in 2023. I expect, hopefully, the family grow and we build because that's what I want to do with this. I want to build. I don't do the beef and stuff. I don't get into it because it's not productive for me. I don't knock nobody who do it. Everybody does things their own way. Like I said, I don't judge nobody. But when it happens, when I get involved in stuff like that, it affects me in a way I don't like to be affected negatively. So I try not to involve myself. But as content creators on here, that I do support. You might not see me in the chat, but I watch the video for a minute. I hit the like button. You know, and if they talking about something that I can relate to, then I get in a conversation. But like I said, I don't knock the way anybody does anything. That's just their way. And if I don't accept it, I just don't put my energy into it. But like I said, it's no knock against everybody got their own path. So everybody do things their own way. But for me to grow the way I'm trying to grow, I can't expose myself to certain things. And that's how I live my real life. I tell people like if you are trying to get over something, don't expose yourself to the type of environment that it resides in. If you're an alcoholic and you want to get clean, you can't go into a bar. What my addiction was at one point in my life was violence. I liked it that negative. I liked it. I thrived off of it. It made me feel better, or I thought it did. And then I realized that I'm just adding more and more and more negativity inside myself. And it felt good for a minute to go back and forth or to go at somebody and make them feel bad about themselves, but it hurted me later. And then I needed to do it again. And I needed to do it again. I had to go break somebody else down. I had to go be better than somebody else. I had to go make somebody else feel insignificant. And the more I did it, like I said, I got a temporary fix, a temporary relief, but ultimately I was just hurting myself even more and digging a bigger hole for me to climb out of. So, but like I said, I self-reflect and I understand that I can't indulge into it because when I do, it turned me into something that it took me a while to not be. I cut out my vocabulary. I'm not going to say it. Don't slip. Yeah, sometimes. And where if you research it had a different it did. See, right, and this is why see, like I don't like bro, look, it's so much stuff I want to do on here, so much content I want to bring, but it's like my audience ain't big enough yet. And people say, well, if you do it, maybe it'll grow off of that. And maybe it will. So that's what I plan on doing. But like I said, I don't even know how to get my slides on here yet. Because most people, like I can sit here and talk, but we know what the reality is when you're teaching people about stuff or exposing information, they want to see something, a source from the old days, you know. So even if I had a PhD in something, I still have to show someone something that people said years and decades and centuries ago to prove what I'm saying today. Like if I talk about religion, I got to go back to show people. So I can't even, once I learn how to get all my information on here, I got it. And I can just buy another computer. 'Cause I actually got most of it on the flash drive. But yeah, I'm working on a project writer about the N word. It probably ain't gonna be done for a couple months, but I think it's gonna be deep. And yeah, I don't say it. And like I said, when I get upset and I'm describing one, then I'm gonna say it. But I'm not gonna say it to greet no one. I'm not gonna say it to acknowledge anyone. But if someone if someone fits the description, then yeah, I say it. But it's not something that I use on a daily basis for our loved ones and the kids and the family and friends. Yes, friends that keep people in our prayers. You got a stepdaughter, but I really like. I don't have no kids. Yeah, and see that's the important thing. I mean, I'm only 38, so I still got a lot of life to live, but it's the generations under me who are gonna have the biggest impacts on society moving forward. So, when I was younger, it was people who invested into me. Information, love, attention, and positive influence. They invested that into me, so hopefully I can make an impact going forward. And that's what I'm gonna do. That's why I try to make content where people can listen to it and have their kids in the room. You know, that's why I try to make content like that. I try to stay away from the, cuss word. Sometimes when I'm passionate, I'm human still, not a robot. So sometimes when I'm passionate, I might use some expressive words, as I like to call them, but generally, I try to stay away from them because I do want people to be able to ride in their car and listen to what I'm saying with their kids in the car because something I say might resonate with their kids. And that's why I always try to be positive, even if I'm talking about something negative. I always try to be positive because it's enough negativity in the world, and it don't need me to add to it. That's just how I look at it. I got a whole different perspective. Like if y'all don't believe in the third eye, I promise you, it's real. If you truly don't understand it or believe in it, I promise you, it's real. Just from experience, because once my third eye was activated, the whole world became different. It became different. And not only did it become different, some things just didn't matter to me no more. A lot of the material things, a lot of even the people, the way I used to want to be accepted by people. I don't have that desire no more. It's not a need. It's not an inkling. I understand that I'm not for everybody. Just like everybody not for me, and I'm okay with that. And that's another thing too. I was able to accept a lot of different things. I used to say why all the time. Why, and now I'm able to look at things, analyze it, see it for what it is, and move forward. If I can utilize it, I utilize it. If I can't, I can't. And it is what it is. It's a lot of things. Like I tell my wife, it's some things in life. We got all these sayings, right? And we say them, but we truly don't understand what they mean. Because if we did, we utilize the information. Like, we always say, don't worry about the things you can't change and change the things you can. But we still worry about the things that we can't change. So a lot of times we'll look at situations or incidents, and even though we heard this before, we still let the things we can't change affect us. In the way they affect us, and I tell everybody, they affect our emotions. Your emotions are energy, literally energy. And that energy does a lot of different things. That energy can heal you, or that energy can kill you. People have died from broken hearts. That energy, emotions are real. Is a frequency. And if I tell you is a frequency that you can utilize to connect to the creator, you probably wouldn't believe me. But I promise you it is. I promise you it is. That's why I tell people always care about how you feel. You can affect your environment and the people in it if you care about how you feel. I sometimes I make people sick when I walk in a room because they so negative people and I'm positive, and that's not me tapping on myself on the back. I have literally told people told me, you too positive, man. I'm sick of you. Like, how can you be sick of somebody positive? That's because you're negative. It's like the inner two magnets that repel. Your emotions. Mammy, that's why I was telling you, don't let these people upset you. People will say things and do things to turn your positivity into negativity because they feed off of people feed off of negative energy. I promise you, I used to. I'm telling you this because I used to. The more negative I made people feel, and I'm talking about making them feel bad, making them angry. That made me happy. It's like, look, I can affect this person. I can control this person. I can turn this person from positive to negative, and that made me feel good about myself. That just tell you how fucked up I was. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say that, but I'll tell you how messed up I was at one point. So I can identify these things because I was that person at one point. That was me. And I didn't do it and I'm just being real. I didn't do it in a it wasn't a circus the way I did it. I did it with my words. I was that wolf in sheep's clothing. So I can identify them when I see them. I can identify that energy because I used to resonate with it. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. And this is not no YouTube advice because, like I said, I don't really know. I'm still learning. But in real life, there's only one way to stop a bully, and that's to hit him in the mouth. That's the only way I know how to stop a bully is to hit them in the mouth. Because even if they hit you back and you get beat up, they gonna recognize you willing to fight. And usually bullies don't like when people fight back. That's not what they bullying you for. They bullying you because you're easy to bully. But like I said, the internet is different. But in real life, that's my advice to people. You got kids and they getting bullied, put them in a self-defense class. Teach them boxing, either boxing or something. Don't get boxing or like a Muay Thai. Don't get into that karate. That stuff don't work in real life. Hey, Queen Sanity. But that's how I deal with bullies. Yeah, I hit them in the mouth. That's the only way I know how to deal with them. But like I said, this YouTube thing different. I'm still learning it. I just stay out of people's way because I don't want no smoke. Like the stuff people be doing on here, like where I'm from, it wasn't. It's like where I'm from, you don't even get loud with people. It was you don't even let somebody know you about to attack them. So like it's all different to me. It's all different. Mostly cowards who pick on people they know that they can take advantage of. But when they come across an alpha, they folk exactly. You see what I'm saying, Ryder? Exactly. And we got to build ourselves. I mean, like you have to like even that concept of alpha, right? This is what I believe. You especially like young men, we have to. I don't even like using that concept of alpha because it categorized. But at the same time, we have this. That's what we have to build our young man into. Like when we got boys, we have to raise them to be an apex predator. Because what's gonna come at them in life is other apex predators. So if it's, I mean, the only thing we can really do is prep them for a fair fight or try to get them to a level where they can compete. So that's why I always I train. I try to train. I got two nephews. I'm about to start training one. I want to train the other one. I train my wife. You know, my friends who had boys, I always tell them give them to me for a couple months. Give me 3 days out the week. And it not only builds the confidence to fight, but it builds character too. Because the main lesson I learned in training in martial arts was to avoid the fight. That's the main thing I learned was to avoid it, not to actually run into it. If you can defeat someone without throwing a punch, that was the key. So but like Ryder said, once they see that you ain't gonna back down and you go toe to toe with them, they usually fold or they run and get a gang of people on you. I mean, that's how it work in the street, right? They usually run and get a gang. So now you're getting mobbed on versus a one-on-one fight. But even then, you hit a couple of them in the mouth, don't nobody want to fight no more. Like even those people, they don't want to be swung on. No, nobody want to be hit. So but yeah, it's a lot. Like this, things just change so much because like this whole now it's cyberbullying, and the stuff that people do on the internet is crazy. Because a lot of it I don't think people would do in person, but it's the cyberspace makes it safe, to do things that you wouldn't normally do. So that's why, and that's another reason why I try to stay away from all that. Grown adult male who took a beta male who was usually younger as his mate. The concept of alpha and beta, bro. See, this is why we come on here and share information, right? Because I'm not even gonna lie to you. I understood that alpha and beta was Roman, but I didn't know the history, and that's why I like building with people because I just knew, I just had this feeling like that ain't for me. Like I don't like to be compartmentalized into anything because I feel once you put yourself in a compartment, you try to live up to what the standards of that compartment is. So that's why I don't like doing it, and it just never seemed right to me. And the people who will say I'm an alpha male, I wasn't resonating with them dudes a lot. So it was like, nah, I don't want to be that. But that right there, all right, bro. That right there, man. That right there that's what they call knowledge gold, bro. And see, a lot of stuff came from them Greeks and Romans. That ain't for us, man. And we indulge into it. Like that stuff ain't for us, man. That's why our heads is so screwed up because like when they see back in the day when they say you out your cotton picking mind, that was supposed to be a bad thing, but it was actually good because if you think about black people being in a cotton picking mind, you're in the mind frame of a slave. So yeah, I'm out of my cotton picking mind. I'm in my right mind. And a lot of us ain't in our right mind. We still indulge in other people's culture and we adopted a lot of their culture. And by doing so, we begin to do things that's unnatural to us. And I believe, just my personal opinion, I believe that's why we at the bottom of the food chain. I truly believe that. Like, we at the bottom of the food chain because we accept too much stuff that other people done gave us. And we went around and not only civilized half of the planet, but we gave them science, we gave them mathematics. I mean, this is just, it's proven. We gave them gold. We introduced them to a lot of different things. And the reward that we got in that was we were stripped of our culture, of our language, of our history. That's the thanks they gave us. We too nice of a people, but we don't give that same niceness we give these other races. We don't give that to one another no more. And that in itself, we were indoctrinated. We were conditioned to hate ourselves. And in turn, you hate people that look like you. That's why I said I don't know if y'all familiar with Neely Fuller, but his work, gave me a perception of not only how to love people to look like me, but how to not judge them, you know, and just understand them better. Like, okay, I can tolerate you, I can deal with you, or I'm gonna just stay out your way. Either I'm gonna build with you or you cool. I can tolerate you, or I'm gonna just stay out your way. There's no purpose of me beefing with nobody to look like me because that's like self mutilation to me. So I try not, and I say I try because you can't avoid everything, So I understand, me being on YouTube one day, somebody might come at me sideways, or I might say something and somebody think I'm taking a shot at them, So, like I said, I understand I can't, you know, always avoid a crash, but I'm aware of that. And I try my best to avoid conflict with people and focus more on building with people because I think we have an opportunity. I think we get an opportunity as people, to wake up or shake off all the undo a lot of the damage that was done to it. And like I said, it might not be in my lifetime, but if I can spark the revolution, then I want to be a part of that. And once we understand, it's nothing. I'm not telling you to go buy guns and to spark the revolution. It's our minds. We gotta think better. We gotta until we do that. No matter what we do, it ain't gonna work. It's been proven time and time again. The very first thing they took was our minds. That was the first thing. That's the first thing we got to get back. And if we don't, no matter what we do, it's always gonna be that one person that's willing to knock the whole building down. It's always gonna be that one person willing to do that. And then after they do it, you usually see they commit suicide or they they regret it because now they realize what they did. If their mind wasn't right, if their mind was right, that would have been avoided. So I think, just my opinion, and that's why I tackle the information the way I do. Um, which is BS. Yeah, always fight back. And then, damn man, it's you. Yeah, see, Mammy, this the best advice that I can give you too is Be choosy. Who we have to you have to be like I said, you got a heart of gold. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I think your intentions are pure. You just got to be careful of the company you keep. You know what I'm saying? Because uh, a lot of times in life, people will simply people don't like happy people. They don't like seeing people happy, good spirit, will, and they understand when people are like that, they easily influence. That's why, like, even when I say how positive I am, I understand. I embrace my negativity. I'm at peace with my negative side. You know, we all got a positive and negative within us, and I'm at peace with mine because I know I'm gonna need it. So there's no point in me throwing it away or trying to suppress it. No, I made peace with it. So when I need, that's my protector. My negative side, that's the person to come out and don't take no mess. You know what I'm saying? So even though we go out, even though we go out and try to be positive influences, you gotta have a negative side too, and that's what's gonna protect you. You know that devil inside of all of it. We just gotta understand it. And like I said, I made peace with mine, and that way, when I need to call on it, it's there and it's ready. So that's so hold on, mammy. You said somebody physically hit you? See, Ryder, this is why we need to have these talks, brother. Now, I want to build on what you just said. In order to control the minds of people, you must first convince them to follow your ideology. In order to control them physically, all wars first started mentally to control, then end physically. Exactly. Now check this out, Ryder. How do you control their minds? You know what I'm saying? They use what usually is what you usually have to do to control someone's mind is to control their emotions. If you can control someone's emotion, think about it. Women that make men fall in love with them, what, to take advantage of them, and they blinded by love. We told these things, we just don't understand them. Your emotions. This is why I tell people to care about how you feel, because once somebody tap into those emotions, oh, they gonna take your mind because those emotions affect your perception, and your perception is how we choose and the decisions we make. That's what perception controls. So if you can tap into them emotions, a lot of times, even war, you know, how did they convince the American public it was okay to go to war with Iraq? They told them they had weapons of mass destruction, and look what they just did to these towers. What you think they gonna do? Everybody got afraid, and once they was afraid, they said, "Yeah, go over there and do it." Then they get over there. There's no weapons of mass destruction. You just tore the shit out of a country. You killed the leader, even though he was a dictator. He kept the country in check. Now look what you have. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times, even think about this. They keep giving us these slave movies, right? You sitting there watching that. If you're not aware of your emotions, those movies go piss you off, and then you go start seeing things about the slaves in the house and the slaves in the field, and then that's getting us going at one another because now, even though we ain't in slavery no more, we look at people like, oh, you a house or you a field. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do now because those emotions that the movie drew up. you know. So I was going to the store for my mom and everything is like, oh, attacking me twice. And see, man, like this is what I want to do one day. I want to teach women about. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm still trying to figure out, but I teach self defense. You know that's one of my specialties. But it's different things you can do, different weapons. You know, you need. If I was you as a woman, you should always have at least pepper spray with you. That'll get a crowd off you quick. You know, my wife carried this thing called a Kubaton. It's a piece of metal with two spikes coming out like the fist part, and then there's a not a sharp, there's a blunt tip. So she can either punch or she can stab with it. You know, she keep that on her key ring. You know, but yeah, you always you go always go get you some pepper spray. That'll keep a crowd off you. You get to spraying it, I promise you, it'll get people off of you. And don't be afraid to use it. It's the mindset too. Never, I can't be a victim. I'm not even a survivor. I'm a warrior. You know, I'm not a victim. I can't do it. You know, like Roger said earlier, you got to be ready. No, I don't like bullying, but you know what is it's something that has always been done, and this is why I say like I don't get emotionally attached to things, and I understand like because I can't if I get emotionally attached to it, I can't help the situation, you know. So the way I look at bullying is like this: hit them in their mouth, fuck them up, do whatever you got to do. And like I said, most bullies they go either attack you because they think they're stronger than you, or they go attack you because they're in a group. That's how people get bullied. You know, people get in groups and they feel more powerful, so now they can attack you. Or somebody who just look and think they physically stronger or got some type of physical advantage over you. But once you show them that you're willing to fight back, like I said, if a group approaching you, you start pepper spraying everybody, they ain't trying to attack you no more. They trying to get that shit out their eye. Excuse my French again. But they gonna try to get it out your eye. They ain't even worried about attacking you no more. Now you can get away. So yeah, I don't agree. I say like I don't agree with bullying, but it's almost a necessary evil because if if I didn't get bullied, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And when I was younger, you know, because the way I came up at first, I wasn't a fighter, but now I am. That's because I had to fight back. But if I never had to fight back, and then I got to this age, I wouldn't know how to fight. So that's why I say it. I don't agree with it, but it's necessary. Like the devil, you know, if you didn't understand the pain the devil caused, mammy, and I know you're religious, but if we didn't have the devil to teach us bad, we wouldn't know what good is. That's the whole concept of good and evil. They need one another. You know, when I look at bullies like this, bullies give us the opportunity to show our strength. You know, that's how I use them. You want to bully me, I'm gonna show you. Now I get to prove how strong I am. That's what I say is our mindset. You control their mind by erasing who they are. Yep. Their beliefs, their religion, their moral. You keep them in child's mindset so that way you can feed them your information, which is not their own. And that's how, I mean, just even looking at slavery, you know, right? They used to cut the baby out of the mother's womb and get a baby to the kid. And that was one way they took the culture, took everything from. Because now you got a kid who hasn't learned the information yet, raising the other kid. So now the information that those kids are getting is from the master. And they kind of doing it is a form of doing it today. If you look at back in the day, the father can go out and work to provide for the home, and the mom stayed home and nurtured the kids. But today, the mom and dad is out, so who teaching the kids? Who we got teaching our kids now? So it's being done, just not physically. It's being done mentally. Mom and dad tired when they come home. They ain't really got too much time for the kids. They working 8 hours a day. So now it's hard for the mother and father to have the influence or the impact on the children. So who are impacting the children now? The schools are indoctrinating them, and society, mainly social media. So they stripped us of all that. She was going in the house, and it was a nice day. It was summer. Yeah. And that's another thing. Like in learning self defense, you become aware of your surroundings at all times. And like that's one of the things that mentally I had to deal with when I lost my eyesight, because that was one of the tools I utilized was my eyes, to be aware of everything around me. But now I can't. So now, like, I'm literally training my wife on how to, be aware of things. And not only that, but how to communicate with me without communicating. Like, without saying somebody coming this way. We work on the clock system, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So I'm teaching my wife that we go in the stores and I tell her to point stuff out, and I'm building her mind up to make this normal. I'm training her. I thought I was going to defend myself. And like I said, in Ryder, that's facts. To be realistic, we all are bullies, but there are certain levels to it, right? If you read the definition, we are all guilty of it. So ironically, bullies can be positive and negative. No, it don't. It don't. That's what, like, I'm a bully with this positivity. Like, no, what you said is a fact, and that's why I say that's why I say it's necessary. That's why I say it's totally necessary, because, like, with my positivity, I'm gonna be a bully with it, bro. I'm gonna give it to people if they want it or not, and that's just how I am. You know, I'm a positive bully, I guess. And I'm gonna give it to you. Like, even what I'm saying, like, a lot of a lot of my content, I'm just telling people about the mindset. Don't nobody want to really hear this, but I keep making videos. That's a form of bullying, ain't it? I'm antagonizing, and I'm gonna keep doing it, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it until the seed is planted, and eventually it's gonna blossom and grow into a beautiful tree. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna bully this information into people, and I hope and pray people watch it. Because like I said, it's it helped me. And like I said, I wasn't the best person. I heard a lot of people, did a lot of stupid stuff. And I ain't proud of it. But I can honestly say I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson so much. I'm doing the polar opposite of what I used to do. And it's hard, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. And the more I interact with people, the harder it get. But I look at that as an opportunity to show myself my growth and show everybody else my growth. Like, the people who know me and the people who care about me, they got faith in me. I told them, don't trust me. Have faith in me. Have faith in me, because I'm gonna do right. I'm gonna do right. Mammy, you are blessed. Your mom is your guardian angel. Yes. Yes, Mammy. I'm like I said, I believe you got a heart of gold. I really do. I truly do believe you got a heart to go. I feel energy. Like I promise you, I feel it. And all I tell you is this: go around people to make you feel good. Go when things don't make you like. If you somewhere and you start feeling bad, get out of there. Trust your feelings. Don't let the environment influence you. You have to influence the environment. And if you can't influence the environment with your positive energy, get out of there. Don't even go. You got to protect yourself first at all times. Like I've got to a point where I can go into a negative environment and I can sit there. And if I don't begin to influence that negative environment, I get out of there. That's just how I operate. Hey, I wasn't taking their lunch money, bro. I was just taking the lunch there, bro. Nah, but you know what? Like even in school, man, it was like I hung around the geeks, bro. Honestly, I played, especially like in high school. I played football, baseball, and basketball. I was a jock, but I hang around the chess team and the tennis team. Those are the people I like being around because they was just cool, down to earth people who they didn't have drama. They was into stuff. I was basketball cards, we was into stuff like that, computers and stuff. So I hung around them, and they didn't get bullied because I was around them. And when they did get bullied, they just called me. So I was more of like an anti-bully, like when I got to high school. But um, when I was like in grade school, yeah, I wasn't like, I didn't pick on people, but if I did fight, it was always somebody bigger than me. I guess I wasn't no little dude, but I always had a concept of being a smaller person. I always wanted to fight people bigger than me. I never wanted to fight. I remember I got punched in the chin by somebody smaller than me, and he hit me so hard. It was like I never wanted to fight nobody smaller than me again. Like the way he punched, it was like he was punching up, and like my teeth, like everything went black for a minute, bro. Like, like he rocked me, and I'm like, oh, and I just grabbed him and slammed him, and the fight was over. I like power bombed him, but he hit me so hard, like, everything went black for a minute, and I was like, damn, he gave me a concussion off an uppercut. But yeah, I didn't. No, I was more like an anti-bully. In the hood, it was a little different because it was like we protected the block. So if somebody came on the block, we ran them off. And then we go on their block and start trouble. So I guess at that point I was a bully because even after they left, I went to seek them out, and I wanted all the smoke. I was that type of person that was real quiet, but as soon as it pop off, I was the first one to do something. I was the first one. It didn't even have to be my fight. One of my boys popping off with somebody, I just get up and rock them. Like I was always the one who was about, I was just about to smoke. I was about to smoke. And then, um, but when I got into like Wing Chun, I don't know if y'all familiar with that martial art. That calmed me down a lot. That calmed me down a lot because they was kicking my butt, and it humbled me. That these it was people smaller than me, women, bro, just slapping me up, and I couldn't hit them. And it was because of the fighting style. But like in the street, if they tried, like if I was street fighting, it wouldn't have worked. But learning a whole new style, um, it humbled me. Like so, yeah, like that. Like when I did that, I understood like they don't have to be they don't have to be bigger than you to hurt you. It's the fighting the dog, not the size. Bro, my life story, man. I can go write a book. I know, bro. My mom told me to write a book, man. My OG always say that you need to write a book. Whiteness and being brainwashed, only to realize I was lied to it. Yes, bro. And see that a lot of us got that same story, bro. Because the indoctrination is real, bro. And then when you begin to dig deep into it and understand it, it's almost sickening. And then, like, when you be trying to give information to people, and you think about when you start learning it, right? You was like, okay, okay, yeah, 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 yeah. But when you try to tell other people, it's like they don't want to let it go, and it's the ego, you know. I believe it's the ego, but like I never understood. Like, look at this, bro. Like, why you don't? We this is how all this happened to us. This is why we in the condition we in. And if we learn how they did it, then we can undo it, right? I mean, that's what I thought. Like, look, this is how they did it, so we can reverse it almost and undo it. So let's learn how it was done so we can undo it. Nope, that ain't what people want. Nope, they just want to get messier and messier, bro. And that, you know what? Um, go to this party, and I say yes because I wanted to show them I'm not the one to play. Yeah, and see, that's what I'm saying too, man. People don't let people take you out of your character. You know, like when people learn, like when I was in school, when people learned, like, oh, you do karate, let me see it, and then people wanted to fight me, like, hold on, bro, what did you want to fight me for? Because now you know how to defend myself, and now you want to fight. But then I learned this: when you, um, a lot of times when people come at you, they want you to attack them. You know, that's why people say and do stuff because they want you to attack. And by understanding that, you understand how to respond. Because this is what a reaction is. A reaction is something that you do because someone did something to you. Now, a response is you using your intellect, your thinking to counteract what they did. That's why I choose to respond versus I choose to react. Because when you react, they're in control. When you respond, you're in control. So look at it that way. So like if somebody coming at you sideways, first thing I try to do is identify the intent. Why are they doing it? You know, once I identify why they're doing it, then I know how to respond and I won't react. But if I'm in my emotions, I'm gonna react. And a lot of times, like I said, I'm human. So a lot of times I can't I can't respond. And if I know I'm in my emotions, I'm gonna react. I gotta take myself out of the situation because my goal is never to react; it's only to respond. So that's why I say is a like I'm a work in progress. I'm still work. It's some stuff like with my kids, my family. I'm gonna react. You know, I'm just gonna react. I ain't got time to respond. It's new to me. You know, this whole family thing is new to me. So I haven't had time to analyze on how if someone like I'm just being real, and this is gonna sound very ignorant, but I'm telling you the God honest truth. If my kid get into a fight with a kid, I'm kicking the other kid in the head. That's just how I feel. That's wrong. I know it is, and I'm learning and I'm working on myself. I promise you, I am. But that's what's gonna happen. That's my baby. You know, that I know that sounds very ignorant and it's not right. And I'm not saying it's right. I know it's wrong, and I'm working on it. I'm working on understanding how not to. But I know this too, and this is why I say that. When I was in third grade, I see this. I seen this kid get punched, fall, hit his head, and die. The kid died right in front of us. We was in third grade. Kid got punched in the face, fell, hit his head on the ground, and died. So that's my personal experience that I had, and that was gave me the perspective that I have now. I don't want nobody. I don't want none of my family fighting. I don't. I'm sorry. This is wrong, but if somebody hit my mama, I don't care who it is, man, woman, or child. I'm fighting, and I'm working on that. But I understand, like when once you engage in a fight, somebody can lose their life, and you're not taking nothing from me. That's just how I feel. You know, that my life experiences have gave me that perspective that I don't want nobody to fight in my family. And if they do, I'm gonna do whatever I can to preserve their life. That's I know I'm wrong, but that's just how I feel. And I'm working on that because I know I can't go around the playground throwing little kids because my son get into a fight. So I'm working on that, you know. But right now, that's where I'm at. So I'm happy he ain't in that situation yet. So I get time, and I know I can't do it, and I'm gonna work on it. And I know him growing up, part of being a man is to get in the fight. He gonna have to get hit in the mouth, you know. He gonna have to. So it's my job to prepare him for that. And once I prepare him for that, maybe I feel different. But as of right now, I'm working on that. All right, because my mom told me I couldn't run up. Yeah, sometimes you get put in situations, mammy. Um, you get put in situations, but the important thing is to learn from it. You a lot of times, I sit back and think about incidents I've been in life, and I analyze them and see what I could have did different and what I should have did different. And the more information I come into, I still go back to some of those earlier incidents and apply that new information or that new knowledge I gained to that incident because you never know if that situation presents itself again or if you can teach someone about that situation. And now you got tools that you can go back and tell them, well, I could have did this or I could have did that or I could have did that or I should have did this. So that's what I would do, man. I would look at that situation, analyze it, and look for ways that you could have either avoided or different things you could have utilized to change it. And Ryder, bro, I enjoy conversations with you all the time, bro. Still sharp and still, Ryder. I'm telling you, bro, still sharp and still. Like honestly, I was only supposed to be on here for 30 minutes just talking about the new things I just wanted to try, things I wanted to implement, you know. But when you get still like any opportunity I have to build with somebody, to share perspectives, like I said, I'm an information whore. And just I mean, what you told me about that alpha and beta not only gave me the knowledge, but I understand now why I never put myself in those categories or allowed anybody else to try to put me in those categories. Like my wife was like, "Oh, my husband an alpha male." I'm like, "Man, I ain't no damn alpha male." I said, "I'm just a man. I don't put myself in those. I'm a man. I'm if you um my perspective of what a man is a protector and a provider. As long as I'm doing that, I'm fine. You know, anything else, I'm other things too. I can be I'm nurturing to my kids. I teach my kids. I teach my wife. Anybody willing to listen, I share the information that I have with them. So I'm much more than the general understanding of a man is. But I've never allowed anyone to define what I am, and by putting me in a category or putting myself in that category, now I just feel like I have to live up to the standards of that category. So I just personally don't do it. Yeah, yeah, they called my mom to tell my mom I didn't even know they had my number. Wow. Yeah, like I said, you people, this world. I was on Doa's channel, and Judge Joe Brown and Papa Duck was on there. And I wanted to get on that panel so bad because I truly feel like the information both of them brothers had, the elder and Papa Duck, he be dropping some info. But to see those two kind of clash, it just reminded me of an earlier live I had talking about the older generation and the younger generation. And I feel my generation should be a bridge between those two because they both was making good points Judge Joe Brown had the old school way, Papa Duck had a new school way, but they was clashing. And it's like both of y'all brothers right, because I this is my this is just my perspective, right? If you if we try to make ourselves better people, and we feel another group of people are going to try to tear us down, we can't just do it one way. We got to attack it multiple ways, and that way they will have to try multiple ways to stop us. But if we just try something one way, then that's easy to stop. We got to understand, we in life, we get opposition, and that's just how it is. And I don't this is why I don't believe, like, I don't believe in protesting. I don't believe in asking for nothing. Whatever I want, I'm gonna take it, and you gonna have to stop me. If I want something, you gonna have to stop me. I'm gonna take it. I'm not asking for it, especially if it's mine. If I work for something, or if I deserve something, or if it's rightfully mine, you gonna have to put me down, because I'm gonna take it. You know, like I said, they can't define me. I don't fit in the category. I worked around. I worked in a hospital in the OR room under an anesthesiologist and nurse anesthetist. So, in fact, the area I worked in around all the drugs, I was the only black male to ever have that job. I was the first black male. And my second day there, one of the white doctors, I had walked out the room, and as I was coming back, I heard him say, "Are y'all gonna let him work around these drugs? Y'all ain't afraid that he was gonna steal them?" And I could have got emotional. I could have got pissed off or mad. But when I walked back in, I said, "Bro, I don't do drugs like that. I smoke weed every now and then." Everybody started laughing. He looked at me. I was like, "Bro, it's cool. You got your opinions, and I'm yours. But that don't mean it apply to me. So I'm okay. You was just ignorant." And after that, that man respected me. I didn't even want his respect. Didn't need it. You know, Did I feel some type of way? Yes, but I knew I had to respond, and I couldn't react. If I would have reacted, I would have lost my job. And at that time, I needed my job. So I had to learn how to deal with these people, because working there, it's like they just stopped talking around me. Like, I'm in Michigan. I worked in Detroit. So instead of saying black people, they said Detroit, and use that. They use the term Detroit instead of black people, and start describing poverty and crime. Like, I know what you're doing. So you telling me every part of Detroit got crime. So you telling me none of these suburbs got crime. Or just say black people. And they looked at me. I said, because that's what you want to say. So just say it. So, but what I'm telling you, Mammy, you have to, hold 1 second. The definition that comes close to the term alpha, you want to use the one to describe yourself. The apex, exact. Hey, you know what? Honestly, and that's what I tell my wife. Like, even when my wife be like, "You handsome," I said I can't be, because I'm an apex predator. I'm a T-Rex. I can't be handsome. I'm a beast. I'm not handsome. I'm not cute. I ain't none of that. I am a beast. That's what I always tell my wife. That's funny you say that. I always tell her I'm an apex predator. Like, I'm not that's why I say I'm not a victim. I'm not. Even though I'm nice and humble, like, so, like, this is my understanding, right? Like, I forgot what video it was. I think the seed of the serpent. You'll hear me say we all have the potential to be good or evil. You heard me say I made peace with my evil side. Like, my evil side is Samael. If you understand from the Bible, like, my evil side is the devil, bro. Like, if that come out, it'll be hell on earth for anybody who I encounter. And I'm fine with that. I'm at peace with that. Because when I need that, I'm not just gonna be bad. I'm gonna be the baddest. That's just how I am. Like, I'm positive. I'm gonna try to be the most positive person I can be. But if I have to be negative, I'm gonna be the negative. I have to be to survive. That's how I see it. It's like it's too. That's why I tell people when you meet humble people. I learned this. My best friend, he passed away. The most humblest person I ever met in my life. This dude was. He probably my boy G was probably about 5'6", bro. His hands were so big though. He reminded me of like if you. He reminded me of the way he was built was like what do they call him, a dwarf. He was like 5'6", cocky to the mud, and his hands were so huge. I'm 6 foot even. His hands was massive compared to mine. Like this, but he was the humblest guy ever. And when I met him, me and him, we vibed right away. We was both humble. But one day we was sitting there playing a game, and the cable guy came, bro. He asked the cable guy to take his shoes off in the apartment. The cable guy said, "Well, I'm gonna be hooky." He said, "I'm gonna ask you one more time. Please take the shoes off." The guy said, "Look, man, if you want this shit in here, you go." And the rider, when I tell you, he hit him. We playing the game. He stood up and punched this guy one time. The dude head hit the wall, put a dent in the wall. He slid down. He grabbed the guy and put him outside his apartment. Right? Said, "Baby, we got to He called to the back room where his wife was. Said, "Baby, we got to reschedule that because that cable guy wasn't nice." Sat down and played the game. I just met this dude 3 days ago. When I tell you that shit shook my soul because it was so nonchalant. Like he just stood up, hit him, and dragged him out the apartment, sat down and finished playing the game. And I'm looking like, what the fuck just happened? Like it shook me, bro. Like, and he's just sitting there acting like ain't nothing happened. And I'm looking like, and then the more I hung around him, the more I learned about him. He'd been through some stuff in life, and it changed him into a humble person. But when he asked you something and you didn't do it, and it wasn't generally something that he was trying to control someone, but if you came into his house, I seen him knock two guys out. One and both of them, he just drug out his house and didn't think nothing of it. But he'd give you the shirt off his back. He just when they say Miss 504 said I ain't for play, he didn't talk. He just reacted, boom, boom, and kept about his business. But when I tell people leave humble people alone, that's the primary example. I don't even think of myself. I think of him. The humblest person I ever met in my life. But that's one person you don't want to disrespect. He did not take no type of disrespect. No type. And he wasn't no tall guy. He was cocky as hell though. God rest his soul. That was my boy G. Yeah, people always try to prey on the weak. That's why that's like when Ryder said apex predator. Like that's what you have to be. And it's unfortunate because our women ain't protected no more. We no longer live in tribes or communities. I remember when I was younger, I came from a small town, but if something happened like in another town with a woman, it was like people was posseing up and going. We took care of one another. We don't do that no more. Now we just pull out phones and not even a call, for help, but to record. Like I can't record someone who looked like me being violated. I can't do it. But that's just me. Look at us this week. Yep. Yeah, we just overcome, play it out. Yes, it is. Power, respect, power brutalize the weak, bro. And see that this with a lot of that indoctrination. Like you said, turn the other cheek. You know, but this is what I don't understand, though, right? Like, why are we so violent towards one another, but we can't be violent towards the people who really messing us up? I never understood that. Like my one boy, and this ain't me telling nobody to go out and do no harm to nobody. I just want to get that straight because what I'm about to say is gonna sound kind of crazy, but I'm just telling you something a friend told me and it made sense. Um, but he said it's funny how black men will run up on another black man with a gun. But when the police come, they don't use the same gun they shot the black man with. They try to run away and get rid of it. And when he said that, I'm like, that shit don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you willing to shoot somebody to look like you, but the people you complaining about fucking with you, you run from them and throw it. Like, where they do that at? Like, you gangster and hard because you can kill someone who look like you, but the who you say are oppressing you, you run from them. That don't make sense. And like I said, I got cops in my family who I love to death. And if something happened to them, hey, I'm riding. That's just how I feel. But what I am saying is this: how can you shoot someone to look like you and run from someone who don't? Like, that don't make sense to me. Like, if that's the case, if I like when I always, man, I'm not even gonna say that. But what I'm saying is this: please stop, as a black man, please stop thinking you hard or you gangster because you can hurt someone who look just like you. That don't make you hard and that don't make you gangster. That's not what it is. Stop. We need that need to stop being glorified. I'm not gonna say we because I know I don't do it. I don't glorify, like when I tell my stories about when I was in the street, I'm telling it so it can help someone get out of the street because I did. It hurt my soul. My little brother said, "We like this because we seen you," and I'm like, "Bro, well, why you ain't doing what I'm doing now? Then, if I had that influence and impact on you to get in the street, why you don't want to get out the street? I'm not there. I'm doing some. I'm selling houses and life insurance, bro. I'm still hustling. 'Cause that's all it is a hustle, and it's funner because you actually helping people, and I'm making money. I ain't got to worry about nobody kicking down my door. I ain't got to worry about no cops kicking down my door. I ain't got to worry about nobody trying to rob me. I ain't got to sleep with no pistol under my pillow no more. I ain't got to walk out my house and make sure my vest is on my chest because, like, even now when I be hearing these dudes getting hit up, and I'm like, bro, why you ain't? That was I. Every time I walked out my house, I had a vest on my chest, bro. Because my goal was to make it out and make it back in. And I knew what I was doing was dangerous. So I needed all the protection. If I could have walked around in a ballistic suit, I would have. I promise you I would have. Because it's like, bro, I'm not out here playing. I'm for real. And all my whole clip had hollow points. I wasn't playing. And I don't even know if I could tell you what I put in the hollow tips. Then I might be doing a little too much. But I'm saying if I hit you in the foot, you wouldn't go make it. Like, I was not playing. Like, they out here playing in these streets. And I try to be real. And you know what? It's so much that I want to share, but like I said, I can't because it involves other people, you know. But I got a lot of stories that I want to share, and they learning lessons. You know, you can really learn. That's how I learned how to move. Just in life in general. I the experience that I had in the hood prepared me for life. I can go in any type of environment and survive. I can go in any type of environment and live. You know what? You look, Mammy, I don't care how old you come. Look, my one of my mentors told me, he said, the day that I think I know everything is the day I know nothing. You never stop learning. Just because they got old fools now because they think they know everything. Things change so much. And that's what I be trying to tell a lot of the elders, like when they be fixed on ideologies or concepts, like it's information you wasn't privileged to in your time that's out now. So what you're saying, you got to go back and revisit it because now we have new information. So that's why I tell people, like, if I say something wrong, please correct me. because the information that I'm using might be outdated. And that's just simple. That's why, like, when we talk about information, that's why I'm always open to what people say. Just show me. Because like I said, what I studied, it might be no information out. Like it's crazy. Like when I, like if you think about this, even if you believe the moonwalk, that's not out of space. That's still in Earth's atmosphere. The moon is in Earth's atmosphere. If y'all don't believe me, Google it. Even if you believe we landed on the moon, we've never been out of space. It's another atmosphere that they consider part of the Earth, meaning we've never been out of space. We've never been out of Earth's atmosphere. That's crazy. And I just seen that a year ago, 2 years ago. But if you study the Kabbalah, the old Hebrew text, it tells you that it's 7 layers of heaven. It's 7 layers of heaven, and the seventh layer they just found of the atmosphere will be considered the last. I forget the name of it, but it'll be the last portion of the atmosphere before you actually reach outer space, and that's science. That kind of blew my mind. So I like going around fucking with people like, we ain't never been out of space yet. Yes, we have, the moon. No, that's not out of space. And then you show them that, and they be like, oh shit, like yeah. So information is forever evolving. So if you think you know something, it might change later. He's one of the God angels in his path. Yep. Like Mammy Mom. Yes. We are violent towards each other because we have taught about the slavery to fear the white. Yes. And that our kind is the enemy. Yes. Because we think as individuals. Yes, right. That's what I'm saying. The more I do this and I run into people like you, Ryder, the more I get hope. Because like doing this and seeing where the crowds go, I lost hope. I lost hope in people would be having these conversations, that we'd be sharing information with one another, to correct what was done in the past. That's the nicest way I can say it. But I got to stop doing that. That's what I'm gonna do in 2023. I'm gonna be more blunt, but I always try to be careful with my words. I guess that's part of my growth. But we got to undo it. And until we had these conversations, until we share this information with one another, and stop looking at each other as competition and start cooperating, we gonna be lost. We gonna go further and further and further down the rabbit hole to the point where we can't get out. But yeah, we can't. And like even I don't know if you seen. No, yeah, you was in there when I was, having that. I don't even know if he's seen it yet. Like I said, I know he probably ain't gonna see it. But that conversation with KB, like the way he did the title and stuff, and then I looked today, of how he addressing the Andrew Tate situation, and I'm like, I don't know if Andrew Tate guilty or not. I don't really care about that. My whole thing is, sorry, y'all hear my baby girl. It's feeding time, but just the way it's like the respect that was in the title for Andrew Tate wasn't there for Tank, you know, and that rubs me the wrong way. How we have garner all this respect for these people that don't respect us. If anybody gets smoke from me, I give it to them gladly. And it's not me. And I'm not even talking about the average European. I'm talking about the people who really, because they slaves too. I mean, if we want to be honest, they call them white trash, bro. They slaves too. If they within our reach, they ain't no better than us. But I'm talking about the people who actually control things. I get them all the smoke all day. They can get it. I don't care. They can get it. But I ain't got no beef with the average. Huh? You call me? Hayati. Oh, never mind. And I could break it down further way much better to the text. And we can have a much needed constructive conversation. Yes, and see that's what I'm here for, right? Toothless Tiger, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Toothless. But yeah, that's much needed, brother. We gotta still sharpen still. And like I said, until we get the information to one another, we gonna be lost. We gonna be lost. But people gotta be willing to receive the information. That's the hard part. It's like you almost gotta trick people into giving them the information, the masses. But it's always gonna be people like you, Ryder, and like Toothless. Like I said, Toothless, you don't know me, but I am an information whore, and the information that you got is I need some of that. That's why I said I wanted to build with you, um, because the more information I have, the more I can pass to my kids. You sleepy? Okay, baby. But I appreciate everybody coming out. My son just woke up and he ain't having it. Okay, baby. But I'll be back on here tomorrow. But yes, Ryder, we got to build definitely. Toothless, like I said, I'm going to build with you one day. I know I'm going to get on your chat. I know I'm going to be on your panel one day. I'm going to hit it because, like I said, the information that you spit um, is they told me, when an older person die, um, a library is destroyed. And what I took from that is always listen to the elders and receive the information they have to offer. So me personally, when I meet somebody and they have information, I listen, and then some of the information that you have, I know can add to what I know and just can give me what I don't. It'll fill up a lot of the missing pieces of. But I appreciate everybody coming through, Mammy. You already know you always welcome here, and this is a safe space. I don't do none of that drama, that beef. We build in here. Hopefully 2023 we'll be building a lot more. Okay, baby. Okay, we're gonna go lay down. Okay, but that's all I got for y'all. I appreciate y'all coming to rock out for me. Like I always say, conversations build nations. I'm the word, and that's all I got for y'all.